Salvador Castaneda here with Mike Johnson. We are on our third podcast.
We still don't have a name, do we? The Sal and Mike Show?
Yeah, the Sal and Mike Show, the Mike and Sal Show. Right now, it's just two guys trying to promote each other and help each other out.
And figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want anybody to get the impression listening or watching us that we have this figured out, and that's why we're doing this. We're just kind of talking it through, guys. And we're hoping we get some feedback from you guys too, because I think that's important that we continually adjust our plan and learn and grow as we are, provided more information. I think that's, a lot of people think, oh, I've got the plan and I'm moving forward with this and nobody can tell me anything. That's the wrong way. Unless you're continually learning and growing and adjusting, you're going to fail. So that's
right.
I think what we're doing here is awesome, and hearing different perspectives on things is great. So you want to talk about fasting, and I am particularly, I'm not going to call myself an expert, but man, am I in it right now.
Yes. So I want to talk about two things, or we want to talk about two things: fasting, and then whose plan are you really working?
Sure.
So let's start with Mike. Let's with fasting.
I just finished a 7-day fast today, and I fasted. So I love good craft beer. I know you do too, Sal.
I do too. I brew it.
So I've quit drinking anything until my birthday in April. I wanted to carve out that time that I normally take to enjoy a few good beers and focus that energy on working and growing a business. So I cut that out previously. But then this week I decided to do a fast, and I did a 1-week fast. I don't think I've ever really fasted before. If I did, it was maybe a day or two, but not 7 days. And I will say that it was easier in the physical sense than I think I expected it to be. I wasn't really that hungry. There's a few times where the wife was cooking up something delicious in the kitchen, and I was just sitting there going, I'm going mad over here. But for the most part, it was pretty good. But it was the mental aspect. I definitely use eating, good food as kind of, my vice, my escape. I use that to cope with a particularly tough day. And not having that was hard. And so the mental aspect of it was that I had to learn other ways to deal with, long, stressful days that didn't involve food. And I also took myself off of non-educational YouTube. And what I mean by that is that I only watched programming training videos, things having to do with Amazon Web Services or other computer-related things that I'm trying to be better at. So that's all I watched this week. I didn't watch anything that was just purely entertainment. And that was hard too. Because I just want to escape and turn my brain off and fall down that hole of, whatever stupid comedy thing I'm watching or whatever dumb, woodworking build or home remodeling thing or whatever it is. I want that little escape, and I didn't give that to myself. And this week was tough, man. But
I bet.
But it got easier on Saturday. I don't know why. Maybe I just my mind and my body finally synced up, and we were good. And today I broke my fast at lunch. Had a nice big salad. It was delicious. It was so nice to have texture again. You forget how much you desire texture in your life when you are just drinking water. And I'm down 14 pounds in 1 week.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
I did not expect to lose 2 pounds a day, but I feel amazing. And I think I lose a lot of weight in my face. I don't know if you can tell by the beard. And if you go back to last week's video, I definitely think I'm slimmer in my face. And no, I feel amazing, man. So it was a really good experience. I probably won't go 7 days again. I don't know. I say that now, just coming off of it, because there was a couple nights where I was just sitting there. I had some crazy dreams. It was just like I didn't leave myself any way to decompress. So maybe next time I will be better at that, and maybe I will try this again. But I think 4 or 5 days is probably going to be maybe like a Monday through Friday fast. But the results are amazing, because I have a goal of being under 200 pounds this year, and man, I'm off to a flying start. I was started at 229.6, and I ended at 215.8 or 215.8.6, somewhere in there.
So. That's awesome. So I have a couple of notes because I wanted to ask you a couple of things. I wanted to point some things out to everybody that's listening. And the other thing is, the reason we're talking about fasting is really because it's kind of funny that you and I both decided that you're doing fasting as 7 days and I'm doing intermittent fasting.
Completely independently, by the way.
Yeah.
We hadn't discussed that, and you just threw it in as I'm also doing that too when I brought it up. So that's pretty cool.
Right. And the reason for me doing the intermittent fasting, it sounds like the reason you're doing it, is to basically help myself live longer. It's to help myself be a lot more optimal than what I am, have a lot more clarity. And it sounds like that was kind of part of your fast too, with getting rid of, kind of watching YouTube videos that just were not educational or for the purpose for what you're actually working towards right now. Mm-hmm. And so a couple of things about fasting is that it's kind of awesome that it helped you lose weight, but I don't think, and for me, I know that me doing the intermittent fasting, I'm actually going to be doing the intermittent fasting as a lifestyle, and I'm going to try to keep it up, from here on out. I think I'm going to alter a little bit. I'm not going to be doing intermittent fasting every day for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I eat 8 hours out of the day, and then I have 16 hours that I'm not eating right now. And, but I think I'm going to change it because there's so many benefits to fasting longer than just 16 hours. So I am going to actually throw in a day during the week where I do fast for 20 to 24 hours. And it's just, so many benefits to it. But I have a question for you, because my first day of intermittent fasting, I just had some crazy, I call them hallucinogen, like they were just like hallucinating. Right. I had dreams that just were so vivid the first night that I was fasting. And so I'm interested in how your dreams were, since you did it for a lot longer.
It wasn't the first night. I think it was like the third or fourth night. And they were just crazy and random. Like one was Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake in like a church, and like Jay-Z was like the MC and Justin Timberlake was doing a concert a cappella, and some like choir kids joined him. It was so random and so vivid though. It was like I was standing there like in it. It was really, I don't know. And then there was like some action, taken the movie style like escape thing that I was part of. But usually dreams like that, 10 minutes after I wake up, it's just, it's not tangible anymore. Mm. I still remember it right now, and that's rare that I can still pick out details about the dream I had, days later. So it was really kind of crazy. And then one dream, one night my wife was just eating some croutons, and the crunch sounded so good. And I dreamt that I was like eating croutons for like, I don't know. In the dream, it lasted for hours and it was heavenly, but I don't know how long it really lasted.
Okay. So walk us through the process. I've heard that when you start fasting, as long as you did, there's kind of a period in between where maybe you feel okay, and then comes a period where you probably start to feel really bad, and then it gets better. Did you have that?
I didn't have that. What I had was some acid reflux. I took a couple of Tums and I was fine. I don't know what other people feel. I haven't really talked to that many people, but I dealt with it. I think it was, pretty smooth sailing. I didn't really have any ill physical effects. And I don't know if that's typical or not, but I also know that I'm, well, for my height, I'm was probably 60 pounds overweight if you went and asked the doctor. So I don't know if having that extra just helps with it. Like I have plenty to go through before my body goes into real starvation mode or something. I don't know.
So, but you must be mentally tough to do this. I tried to do a fast before, and around the third or fourth, fifth day, I just couldn't take it. and my understanding is that because we eat so many toxins during the day that it makes our bodies not feel good. And then so around the third or fourth or fifth day of basically doing a fast, it's those toxins really start to come out and they start to make you feel really bad. So you must live a pretty healthy, somewhat lifestyle already, maybe. No?
I think having started cutting out like any alcohol at all before I started the fast,
Okay.
like if it was fast and then the same day I was not having a beer in the evenings or 2 or 3 or whatever, or some wine on the weekends or something like that. I think if I hadn't like pre-staged that part of it, it probably would have been a little bit worse. But I think, overall, I mean, I tried to eat, plenty of vegetables and stuff, high protein foods, but I'm not a super clean. I mean, I replace like my beef on Taco Tuesdays with turkey meat and stuff like that. But I'm not like quinoa,
Okay.
only organic foods kind of guy. I just try to keep it healthy, but it's not over the top.
Would you recommend it for other people to do?
Absolutely. Probably not 7 days if you want to see success. So I'll say that maybe I am I don't know. I might be a little more mentally tough in that area for some reason. But I would recommend starting with 3 or 4 days, or maybe just a week fast. So a Monday through Friday fast. I forgot to mention losing the social aspect of eating a meal, like sitting down at the table with the family and all of you just having a nice family dinner together. I still sat there with them, but they were eating and I was kind of over there trying not to watch them eat, right? So that losing that, and even my wife even adjusted. So before I would come up from work, she would eat dinner, so she wouldn't, I wouldn't have to sit there and watch her eat and stuff. So losing that social aspect is not fun. So try a Monday through Friday. You get to be distracted so much typically with your work, and that means that you just have that evening when you're off work till you go to sleep to really fight through whatever sort of cravings you have, but chug tons of water. I drank probably over 100 ounces every day. A couple days it was over a gallon
Wow.
of water, and I don't know, it just makes you feel really good. I've probably never been that hydrated my whole life. So it was.
Did you drink coffee?
I did drink some black coffee in the mornings. I didn't drink a ton. It was weird. It was almost like I didn't need as much because I wasn't like pounding my system with other things, gluten or sugar or whatever else. So I was where I would normally drink, 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day, I would have like most of my 8-ounce cup of black coffee, sometimes not even all of it. And it was plenty to get me going. There's a little bit of a fog when you don't have, the sugars and stuff that kind of keep the metabolism up and going. So that coffee just kind of helped break through that a little bit quicker. But black coffee only, I think it was good.
Did you at any point get to where you just had to really talk yourself to keep doing it, or you're just good?
I was good. I mean, okay. The goal was clear. It was tangible, right? If I said, a week is something we can all picture in our mind. It's very easy to target that. When you set a goal that's too big, often it's not tangible because you can't really wrap your head around how far away it is, or when you set a goal of how much money you're going to make or your company's going to grow to or whatever. When it's too big, it's just it's not something you can chase towards because you can't really understand what that means. But a week, right. It's just Sunday to Sunday, no big deal. Next Sunday is coming.
You got to have some successes in order to keep
exactly build upon the successes. Little successes even help too, right? You wake up and you make the bed, and that's a success. It's a little tiny success, but it's something that you feel good about when you come home and your room's not a mess, right?
Right.
You do a load of laundry before you start work. Little success. You make a phone call in the morning that you've been putting off, even if it's just a personal phone call. Hitting somebody back that rang you the other day. Just little things, and success builds upon success, and so that leads to other successes in the day.
I agree.
Certainly, you need successes when you are fasting because there's opportunities to get down and to fall back into that that mode where you need your coping mechanism. And as I said earlier, food's a big coping mechanism for me. So
where do you go from here? What is your plan? So you took 7 days, you kind of dropped some weight, you got rid of a lot of toxins in your body.
Yeah.
Do you have a plan forward?
So this week I'm going to stay off the carbs. For the most part, I'm not going to eat any bread or rice or a lot of stuff, maybe a little bit here and there, but not a ton. Typically I have a lot of that in my diet. But I'm going to stay away from that. Tons of veggies, tons of high protein foods, tuna fish, chicken breasts, that kind of stuff. All this week, I'm just going to really, really hone in on that, and then running. And we'll see how I feel after this week. I look at this as, a hard shift, if you will, in how I was doing things. This is a 90-degree turn, away from the path that I was on. And hopefully I can continue this into, making other changes that then become the new normal for me. Right. Okay. What does it take? 30 days to form a habit?
Actually, I heard that that's wrong.
How long does it take?
66 days.
66 days.
But a lot of people don't like the 66, so they say 67 days. Okay. The whole, I heard it before, 21 days, 30 days to get used to a new habit. And all of that has to do with everything out nowadays where everybody wants everything quick.
Yeah.
And so just kind of the marketing aspect is like, oh yeah, 20 days, 4-hour work week. I mean, all of that stuff is not really true. You can't have a 4-hour work week,
right?
Unless you've had 1,000-hour,
right,
like 80-hour, 100-hour work weeks for years,
right?
And then you can have a 4-hour work week.
Yes.
So it's actually 66 days.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. I can deal with 2 months. I'm cool with that. Because that's again, it's tangible, right? My birthday from when I started the fast, my birthday is almost exactly 2 months away. So why not?
No, I think you can do it. I'm doing it because, it actually makes me feel better. I felt a whole lot better, and
I do feel good.
And I think
better too.
I bet. And it helps me think a little bit better. It helps me sleep better. Intermittent fasting and fasting, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but it's supposed to help lower your blood pressure. It's supposed to regulate your insulin levels. It's supposed to increase the human growth hormone that your body creates. So it gives you bigger muscles or helps you maintain your muscles.
That's awesome.
And,
all of that's great.
Yeah. And then it is, it's supposed to lower your heart rate too. And so all of those things I think are great, especially if you're someone that, like I used to be, my blood pressure was up, my cholesterol was high. I could feel my heart beating all the time. And so if somebody wanted to try intermittent fasting, I think you'd probably have a couple benefits.
You do 8 hours a day. What 8 hours are you eating?
So I think my mind is somewhere different right now as far as me wanting to accomplish everything I'm trying to accomplish. So I am pretty committed. What I found is best for me is I eat from 7 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then after that, there's nothing. I just drink water. If I get a couple, I heard this guy say if you get cramps while you're fasting and you're not working out, it's maybe like a salt issue or.
I would put a little salt in some water in the morning and just drink that down.
Yep. So I just, and that's all I do. I just drink water. I kind of try to stay away from alcohol as well. Through my intermittent fasting last week, I decided to have a day where I went out and got some ice cream, and I ate pretty bad, and it was horrible. It was just awful for me. I just going through 2 days of eating good and fasting, and then having ice cream and having these heavy foods just threw me off on my fast. It just did not make me feel good. It made my stomach hurt. It gave me a headache. And then so the next day, it seems like it took me a couple of days from eating.
You had to reset.
Food. Yep. And it took me like 2 days to get back to it. So outside of that, I'm just trying to stay away from alcohol as well, which is hard because I brew beer. I'm part of beer clubs.
Right.
I love craft beer. And so no, but I'm staying away from alcohol, drinking a lot of water, working out, and then doing the intermittent fasting. So, and I feel
Did
good.
you notice any weight loss, or just overall good vibes for your body otherwise?
Well, I've had good vibes. I feel good. I think my skin looks better. But I don't know. I'm 195 pounds right now, so I'm about the same height as you, 5'8.5", 5'9". I used to be over 200 pounds. I could never get under 200 pounds when a couple of years before. Quit my job, changed things up. I can get under 200 pounds pretty easily without actually taking a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find out where I end up. I haven't really weighed myself, but I know I started at 195.
Okay. Very cool.
So in a month, we'll see if I have a six-pack or not.
Of beer? Or what
of
are we
beer, yeah.
Because I've been carrying around a keg for way too long, so I'm trying to get down.
You're doing it. All right, so that's awesome. So hey, so let's talk about one other thing. Let's talk about. I was having a conversation with my daughter, talking with other people. Why is it that we do things? I don't know if you've ever sat back and thought. I'm kind of trying to get deep with people as far as like what really goes through my mind, and just kind of sitting down and thinking, why do I want to do this? Why am I going that way?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like, did somebody put it in your head? Is it really something that you want? Is it something that you were born and you have a pull towards that? I mean, why are you doing things? And I don't know. I thought we could talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, let's get into it, man. So for me, why I do what I do, I think is a little bit just what I was meant to do. I don't know. I was taking apart my parents' crappy HP 486. Back when I was 13 or 14 years old, right? And that was just something I was into, and I built a few like custom computers for people back in the day, just because a couple websites, back in the 90s. I guess late 80s, 90s. And I was kind of in that stuff, and I sort of moved away from technology a little bit, but only just because I got distracted by other things as a teenager. And then when I left high school, I became an electrician. A family friend owned an electrical business, seemed like a good career opportunity. So I went and did that for 5 years. But I think 3 years into that, I said, you know what? I remember where I was. I was in this big industrial building, and I was climbing down out of the ceiling, and I was covered in dust that I was positive was asbestos laden. And it was just gross. It was grimy, and it was disgusting. It was kind of cold. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I especially don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I was like, I need a new plan. I was like, thankful that this is one of those moments of clarity that I was able to have as a 21-year-old or whatever, because I most of the other things I remember deciding to do when I was 21 are stupid, but this is the one I hit on that turned out to be pretty good. So I actually changed it up, and I went working part-time as an electrician, and I went to a 7-month program to get basically Windows System Administrator certified.
Okay.
And so I did that, got my first IT job. I continued working part-time as an electrician for a while because my first job was overnight in a knock. So I was just staring at 100 screens all night, like making sure jobs weren't breaking and all these different components were functioning as they should. And just kind of went off from there. And I've been doing it for 17 years now.
Okay.
And I love technology. I'm a big geek. So even when I'm not at work, I'm just interested in technology. And so I think that I do that because that's something that is, core to, to who I am and mm-hmm. that I'm pretty good at picking up. And that's a full-time job. And it gets to be a full-time job, and that's a blessing, right? Because IT jobs are, they're very generous. in terms of salary, and it affords me many other options. And so I'm definitely blessed in that.
Yes.
Now, the other thing that I'm doing, the podcasting platform, I don't think anybody gave me the idea or put the idea in my head. I think it was born out of frustration. So actually, let me show you. Not a strip show, folks. But here we go. So this Ball Hogs Radio.
Yep.
This was a network that a few friends of mine and myself built. And it started as just a show where we would talk Washington, D.C. area sports. And I built the website. I did all the recordings. I mastered the podcasts. I got us on iTunes and Stitcher and all those other places. And I did a lot of the social media work. Anything technical, I was responsible for in that. I was also one of the on-air hosts. Okay. And we grew that over the course of 3 or 4 years to 9 individual shows covering all the major sports teams in the Washington, D.C. and Baltimore area. We even partnered with Monumental Sports and Entertainment, who owns the Washington Wizards and the Capitals and the Mystics, and there's a arena football team now that they own. But we partner with them in the last year of us existing. It was an amazing experience, but there was a lot of frustrations there because the options that I had to host our show, in terms of affordability, in terms of feature set, in terms of all the different platforms I needed to properly distribute our content out there like we wanted to. And if the platform didn't exist, then the extra time that I had to put in to, do the extra work to then upload it to the different interfaces and stuff. And then just the constant promotion, because, right, that's what it's all about, right? If nobody hears your show, then what are you doing it for? We ended up getting a Buffalo Wild Wings sponsorship, which kept us going for a while. So they were our primary sponsor. We had a few other smaller sponsors join on the show, but over that time, it was just, a lot of time and energy would get sucked up by, all the additional things that I had to do instead of just making the content. So while we were making great content, there was all this behind the scenes work that I felt was easily done by a machine. If it was built properly, it could kind of be you upload and your hands off. And I still don't think anybody's doing it to its fullest extent. Some people have incorporated certain features that I think are necessary to survive in today's podcasting world, but as a entire solution, I don't think anybody's done it right yet. But all the components exist. It's not like I'm reinventing the wheel. They just need to be bolted on in a meaningful way so that it makes sense in the overall workflow of recording and uploading a podcast. And so that's what I'm working towards. And that was just born out of frustration, right? It was many nights sitting there going, why am I still doing this? How come there's no solution? Until one day it was like, oh, stupid. Build the solution. But that's been so many years in the works. I've been derailed so many times just by my full-time job and, other distractions in life. But now I'm super focused on building it like I think it needs to be built. So
awesome.
Maybe somebody put the idea in my head, but if they did, I apologize. And you can listen to this episode and come remind me when you did. And I'll say, yes, you were right. This is right.
See, I think that's an interesting story. I asked the question because I kind of born out of me when I was in high school. I did a commercial on beer for some reason. I was 17 years old and I don't even know why. I had an idea. I wanted to make a commercial and for media class when I was 17 years old, a junior in high school. And
how did that go over as a 17-year-old bringing in a beer commercial?
I did a good job on the commercial, but they would not play it at school.
I wonder why, Sal.
It was just like, but I came up with the concept of tequila beer, which this is it back in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people, came up with the idea of what tequila ended up being when I was 17 years old. But anyway, so I always had that idea, and I always wanted to I used to be a photographer when I was 17 years old. I used to work at a place called Expressive Portraits. Now it's called Glamour Shots. And
Okay.
I love photography. I like being in front of the camera. That was just kind of part of me. And then I used to like, I was into psychology, just kind of interested in how the mind works and just interested in a lot of things. And for some reason, my life ended up going somewhere else. And it just seemed like for years, I always had these thoughts or these feelings that, man, I just want to do something else. And slowly but surely, what I've been doing in the last year is kind of coming back to what I wanted to do when I was younger. So I think, so I asked that question because I ended up being a database administrator, and I'm good at doing database administration. But I think it's more because I like to fix problems, and I like to read, and I like to figure things out. But really, I just kind of felt like there was some things missing for me in my life, but this road just kind of kept taking me this way. And the reason it's a big deal for me, and it's also a big deal because my daughter just graduated from high school. So she's 18 years old. Mm-hmm. And her mom believes that she needs to do something, basically going down this road. I kind of believe that my daughter should do what makes her happy. And I think my daughters have been having a hard time trying to figure out what is it exactly that it is that she wants. Mm-hmm. Not what somebody else wants, not what society wants.
Yeah.
Not what she should do.
Right.
What does she want, And I'm actually kind of in that part of my life right now where I'm trying to, I still like database administration. I still like being technical. I like management. But there is just a lot of other things that I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. And sure. I kind of feel like I got pulled back all the way around where it's kind of like, okay, I'm still working on that. So It's just interesting to ask that question.
Yeah. I think to your point about, your daughter not knowing what she wants to do, that's how about this? If someone is 18 and they know exactly what they want to do, they are a special case. I think largely she is with the majority in that. And that's actually probably better that she doesn't know what she wants to do, because that means she gets to try a lot of things. But a lot of people take not knowing what you want to do as a opportunity for inaction, as an opportunity to kind of sit there and wait for it to hit you in the head. Like you're Gilligan sitting under a tree and the coconut falls off, and all of a sudden, oh, here's my purpose in life. No, it's only fruitful if not knowing what you want to do means that you try a lot of things and fail at all things and figure out all the things that you don't like until one day you come across one or two or three or four things that you're like, man, this has totally blown my mind. I'm fully immersed in it, and this is definitely what I want to pursue. And another thing is, just because you choose something when you're young that you are into then doesn't mean that has to be for the rest of your life, right? It's for your foreseeable life. Sal, you probably have had a few different passions over the years, right? And it's okay to pivot and shift over your life. Mm-hmm. We all get to reinvent ourselves as long as we put in the effort.
Right.
And don't walk into it blindly. Do your research, know what to expect. But it's fine to walk away from something that even pays you really well if you're passionate about something else and you've done your homework and you are ready to move into that new thing.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny that you say that, because so let me clarify a little bit. She has a general idea of where she wants to go. She just doesn't know if she should go to this school. So she got accepted to like 10 different schools.
That's awesome.
She's not sure which one.
Congrats to her, by the way.
Right. So she's really smart. She got accepted to a ton of schools.
She didn't make a beer commercial in high school?
No, she didn't make a beer commercial in high school. But so I've been telling her, I think she needs to, what I like to say is she needs to have her cake and eat it too. I think she should just pick the school that she wants to go to. Mm-hmm. And I think this is what she might do. And she's going to basically go to school for like a science degree.
Okay.
And then if later she decides that she wants to become a doctor, which is something that's been kind of thrown at her, that it might be something that she wants to do or not, she will still have that opportunity.
Sure.
And then at the same time, I told her she's really artistic. She wants to be a filmmaker. She draws awesome. She's got some very creative skills. And I told her, I said, why don't you do both things? So what I've been trying to push on her is go to college, but start a business that has to do with your passions.
Yeah.
And then once you're done, then you can decide what it is that you want to do. But I think she's kind of feeling like she needs to just pick one thing, which, like you're saying, she doesn't really need to pick something.
Mm-hmm.
And right now is probably the best time for her to choose whatever it is that she wants to do, because I don't think it's going to cause any pain. So
Right.
I was kind of giving her this example, once if you're married or you have kids, or even if she gets through like 2.5 years of college, if that at that time she wants to change, she could.
Yeah.
But it's going to cause a lot of pain, whether it's for people or with kids or your job. Or do I waste the last 2.5 years I just spent going to school for this and switch careers?
Yeah.
I really think, my advice is basically sit down, think about what it is that you really want. Because right now is the time for you to do that, because there is no pain. Just go.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said about the last 2.5 years, a lot of people fall into that sunk cost fallacy, right? They fall into that. I've read, 200 pages of this 250-page terrible book. I might as well finish it. No, Stop right now. Throw that book out of the window and go do something else that's more worth your time. Do not believe that just because you've sunk the time into something that wasn't working out, that for some stupid reason you should see that through. Move on with your life. Go find another thing to do, because it's not going to make you feel better. That time is gone. You can't go and get that back, and spending more time on that is not the right way to go. So absolutely. I think that your advice to her is dead on. Take that opportunity that these schools are giving her to go and get an education, but absolutely make sure that she's maintaining, a blog and a YouTube channel and all those things, some sort of, drawing service or whatever it is that she's interested in, and make sure she keeps that cooking, because, who knows where that could go. Many people have made their living on YouTube or something similar, where they get to be artistic and express, their passion and excitement for making and creating cool content.
Yeah, doing it all. I think it's a good idea.
Yep.
Right now she's been trying to find jobs. I told her, you need to just work 75% of the day. You just need to go to work, and then the rest of the time, don't go to work. Just sleep.
What's Gary Vee say? Fail in your 20s, right?
He says to fail in your 20s. So it's kind of the same message. Just do whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah, run at it, and if it bombs, move on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right on. So anyway, all right. Well, I think we've covered quite a bit of topics today.
Yeah, I think so too. Sal, I'm encouraged for you. No more ice cream for you, by the way, in the middle of your fast. But I certainly want to hear updates on how your modified fasting plan goes. I think that you will see different and greater results, certainly, for an all day or two of not eating. So I think you should definitely try that and work that into the rotation. Because, not having that, even having to think about just being able to turn off that part of, hey, what am I going to eat? A lot of people wear the same clothes because they don't have to waste any brain power on what am I going to wear. They just have 1,000 of the same outfits. Not having to even waste any brain power on what am I going to eat means you can focus that on something else. And I think that, even if it's only 15 minutes of your day, that's still 15 minutes you didn't have before to do something else to work towards your goals. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching, if you were. Appreciate it. And we will be back next week with a new episode of A Topic Undetermined. Yeah. So we will see you then. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.